The Secrets of TV is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit GiveStarQuest.com. You're listening to The Secrets of Television. Hi, I'm Don Bettinelli, and on The Secrets of Television, we take a closer look at the stories behind the stories, exploring the themes, characters, and hidden meaning in the shows everyone's watching and the classics worth remembering. And this time, we're starting our discussion of Silo Season 3, the first episode titled, Who Are You? Joining me today are Jeff Haecker. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Dom.
And Alix Murray. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Dom. Great to be here.
Yes, great to have you on. This is your first time on Secrets of Television with us, so it's great to have you join us. Although you and I, and Jeff, and you too, Jeff, we discussed previously the Secrets of Silo on Secrets of Movies at TV.
Yeah, I think we did
it was
season
an overview.
2.
Yeah, the overview of it. Yeah.
And I
now
did
we're
season
going to
1 a
dig
few years
in
ago.
episode by episode.
Yes.
So
yes.
Before we do that, be sure to follow the Secrets of Television in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, your favorite podcast app, or at the StarQuest YouTube channel, youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where you should like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications. All right. I'll give a recap. Spoilers, folks. I mean, if you're listening to a podcast about a show, it's going to spoil it. And by the time you hear this, you might have seen most of the season already, but we're just covering that first episode. All right. The premiere picks up 3 months after Juliette barely survived the incinerator at the door. She's now the elected mayor of Silo 18, but her memories of that time outside the silo have been altered. Camille actually is running things behind the scenes using Juliette as a public face. Judge Sims has kind of been sidelined to a supporting role under Camille. Camille doses Juliette with memory suppression drugs at the algorithm's direction. And when the drugs don't fully work, the algorithm orders the dosage doubled. Juliette, meanwhile, finds a hidden capsule in her dinner instructing her to flip the bowl for the truth. A parallel storyline set 300 years earlier follows Congressman Daniel, his sister Charlotte, and journalist Helen. That trio is investigating Iran's alleged role in a dirty bomb detonation in the United States. And the season opens with the question of whether memory itself and history can be rewritten. So, general impressions of this season premiere. Alex, why don't you go first?
I think one of the things that Silo does really well is the slow burn. And it was a really slow burn. I want to say maybe the first half for me of the first episode. But because I was kind of expecting that with Silo, I was definitely sticking with it. And I think the payoff was great at the end. So I really, really enjoyed this episode.
Okay. Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, and just to say, I have once again sworn the pact, and I will not spoil from the books. Though there were some book things that started popping up in this episode that were like, it's not a spoiler to say, but I think the whole Iran thing, that is from the books. At least there being a conflict with Iran. I don't remember all the details, but that was a thing from the books. I don't remember the congressman was in the book. I don't remember anything about his sister, but it's been several years. But yeah, I thought it was a really good premiere. It sets up the storylines, I think, pretty nicely for where this season will go. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I was confused at first.
Weren't we all?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Is this the second episode? What happened? But of course they explained it, pretty quickly what's going on. It is a classic trope. Your memory has been altered, and it's a science fiction.
She has amnesia.
Oh, and so she's a mayor now. She doesn't remember anything. She's told the silo is at peace because you came back. And I find it very interesting, her reaction to she's now a sort of savior figure. She's treated almost like an object of adulation. She has this moment when she has to go and be seen by the crowds in the cafeteria. And she just kind of walks in, stands there as they applaud, and then says, I want to go now, and then leaves. And she doesn't speak to them. She's just there to be adored as an object
she's like
of
a
adoration.
Figurehead. She's a figurehead.
Yeah. And she's very uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. And also to that point, Dom, I thought it was interesting how you had people kind of trading in relics of Jules as well. You know, so they automatically, they were looking at, it seems like there's going to be a shift in how the leadership is conducting itself in this particular silo.
Right.
A lot of, I would say they're almost making her into like a religious figurehead.
Right. While at the same time claiming to become more democratic, more representational. They have this new council of all of that represent all the different jobs, essentially guilds,
departments,
departments in the silo that didn't really exist like that before. Before it was just mayor and judge, and then you had like IT. Some department heads were like the head of IT was like the big guy, and that was kind of it. But now we're sort of ostensibly distributing power, but not really, because there's this power behind the throne situation going on. And it's kind of fascinating to think about what role this AI that seems to be running everything has in keeping everybody in the dark about what's going on.
And also a lot of the people in the crowd. So there's a point where they have this big committee meeting. Everyone comes from the different sectors and they have a representative who stands up and says, well, this is kind of where we are, just kind of making a progress report.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of enthusiasm from the people who have to make these reports, which I also thought was like kind of weird. Like, oh, now it's going to be this democratic change where things are going to be, supposedly more transparent and you have more of a say. And now everyone in the silo knows what's happening in the different sectors. And yet there doesn't seem to be like a genuine desire for it.
Right.
Yeah, I will say, I'm, as a manager at work and having to attend meetings like this, I don't have a great desire for those meetings either. So I can
got work to do.
Yeah. Have a meeting about the meeting to plan the next meeting, kind of a thing. And one thing I agree. One thing I will say is the Juliette amnesia thing. I think that is that is for the show. That's not in the book, from what I remember.
Oh,
I think she is elected mayor in the book when she comes back. So that, like in season 2, when she gets back, I think she's elected mayor. But the amnesia plot line for her is new. There are amnesia aspects to the book, though, which I think we've seen. Like no one knows what happened before the silo. Like we do not know why we are here. And, no one remembers anything in it because nothing was passed down. So, I mean, I think you can, without spoiling, like from where this episode started, you can kind of see what might be going on, like why nobody can remember. Which I think
no one remembers the revolution, the previous, revolution in the silo.
Yeah, because I want to say, don't they say it's at one point, because the congressman timeline is 300 years before, but I want to say in season 1 or 2 they talk about the silos, like the pact is 100 and something years old. Yeah, I could be wrong there, but so there's some aspect of missing time that they don't know about.
There is, and then when the miners were reporting, they were saying we estimate that the silo's been around for about 300 years, based on the number of tunnels that have been
dug.
Yeah. And sorry. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, one of the things that I thought was portrayed well with Jules is she does actually look really drugged.
Yeah.
As opposed to everybody else. Yeah. And also, I don't know if they do make reference to the rebellion. But I found it interesting that the rebels are still there. There's not like a lot of animosity. They still, like the deputy, he was part of the rebellion. He's still a deputy. Well, and
I think the assumption is the rebels kind of won in the sense of, Bernard is gone.
Okay.
Yeah, this rebellion. This rebellion won and put Juliette, elected her as the mayor. But there's also the shadow, like you said, kind of the shadow puppet government of Camille, basically running things because the entity that she's talking to told her that to do all this. So she's following.
Right.
So Camille's really in charge, but we can see Juliette's kind of starting to, like, as she does, because she's the smartest person around, like, she's starting to figure out that things aren't what they seem.
Yeah, her basic personality keeps surfacing, and so they're trying to do something to repress it. Yeah,
but it is devious. You know, the way to defeat a rebellion is to let them think they won and then just control it from the inside. It's very Palpatine-esque, if you will.
It is. Yeah,
I have brought peace, security, and justice to the silo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like the layers. There's so many silo analogies and puns you can make, but there are certainly many layers in this show, and I do enjoy, you know, the way you can dig through it and pull something out from each of those layers. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very complex. It's a very complex and well-written story. And I think one of the things that really carries it is the characters were so well developed.
Yeah.
Like, you know who they are. And Bernard is he's just suddenly become, you know, the big bad.
Right. And he's apparently dead. Even though we know that the actor is in the cast. So
how do you, like, that kind of ruins it. They shouldn't let us know that. That's like, people aren't stupid.
Well, I mean, I think it's a thing of you don't
flashbacks.
You don't show the body. You don't show the face. Like, you see a body, but it's wrapped up. You don't see them. I don't think they pull back. They open it up to see Bernard's face. So, I mean, that could be anybody in there.
There's one point where they show it, and then what's his name? Judge Sims. It looks like he's, like, trying to suffocate him.
They give us two different explanations of Bernard's fate. One is that he died in the fire, and the second, Camille and Judge Sims they seem to they're claiming no, they suffocated him. And it makes you wonder, who else might be taking some memory altering drugs?
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, when they said they couldn't, like, dispose of the body as they normally would, which it kind of looks like they turn everybody into fertilizer.
Yeah.
Kind of a little Soylent Green thing going on. But they were like, oh yeah, it took 6 men 6 hours to carry the body all the way down to wherever they put him. And everybody had to be, nobody could be out to witness it.
Because it was contaminated, the body.
Yeah. That's what they said. It was contaminated. Yeah. I know.
And speaking of rebels, they're still rebels.
Yes.
And the irony is their rebellion is, no, the outside is perfectly fine, when we know, based on last season, that it's not. There's this double fake out where they show them the real outside. It's barren and deadly. And then the supposed secret is that it's just fine, but it's actually really bad. It's this double fake. And so they're stuck on the first fake out and they haven't got to the double fake out yet.
Yeah. They're kind of like the rebels in the other silo who ran out because they thought everything was okay.
Right.
And died. Yeah. So they're still, Jules coming back. She prevented that, but she obviously didn't suppress that idea 100% because there is still a movement that believes that everything's hunky dory outside.
Yeah. Well, she's not suppressing anything right now. It's because she's basically, she's the figurehead. Like you said, she's been drugged, and it's really Camille running the show. And one thing too is there's the other silo. There's I forget what's his name from the Solo. Was that
Solo?
Solo.
He's still around, and I believe she promised him she would come back. But if it's been 3 months and she's been gone, like, what's he up to? So I don't. I'm assuming we'll see him again in this season, and so that's just something I was thinking of too. Like, he's out there. What is he going to do? Because they tell her, or they tell Juliette she sought refuge in a shed out in the on the up top or whatever. So
and found a new suit in there,
right?
Perfectly suited for her
Yeah, like she just laid there for 2 weeks and then put the suit on and just whatever. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a little hard to swallow, I think. And it's not a good story.
Yes, exactly. But I guess if you are taking memory altering drugs, it's not so bad. Maybe. I don't know. It makes sense.
It maybe implants memories, like it's suggested memories. So like maybe she remembers it, but it feels weird. Like, you have this weird memory of, I remember being in that, but isn't that kind of weird? Like I just stayed there for 2 weeks.
I think her engineering brain is what keeps sort of, it's the bug in the ointment, so to say. She just, the way her brain is wired, just can't accept this very irrational explanation. And her dreams, she's working out what happened in her dreams as well, which I think is interesting.
It's an interesting point because it brings up this point of the human element. That you have this algorithm that's trying to, mechanically devise a situation in which to keep the 10,000 humans alive. That's its mission, apparently. I'm just speculating here, but apparently that's its mission, and it's taking whatever steps it deems necessary to do so because it has no morality. It just has this mission. But you can't always account for the human factor. And Julia, because partly perhaps just because she's a unique human being, but also because of her upbringing, she's gone from being at one level and with the doctor to another level with the woman who did the repairs, and the sort of information that she got from her, and then to the engineering crew, and it's formed her into a kind of person. All of her experiences have formed her into a kind of person that can do what she's doing. And I think it's very interesting to see the human element cannot be calculated and algorithmed. Exactly. That's an excellent point. Yeah.
And I think it's going to parallel with what's going on with the congressman, with the memory stuff, with that doctor. Like, I think it's because he's, the doctor is, there's memory care going on, but I think as we'll see, like
right. For his sister.
There's some, they may not be all above board there.
I have a question about sort of the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And how you thought they were done. I found them to be quite disruptive. In that, I don't know. I mean, do I have a better suggestion of how they could have done it? No, I don't. So it's, but take the criticism as much as it's worth. But I just found it was an interesting story, like where things were going. But I just felt it was really jerky going back and forth. And I was like, okay, now, right when I got interested in what was happening, then it suddenly shifted. And I just found that annoying.
Yeah, so
it reminds me a bit of Lost when they started after the first season. I forget exactly which season they started doing those flash forwards, where that was very confusing at the time. And I feel like it's like, okay, what's going on? Like, first, Silo is sort of a claustrophobic little story. They're in this first season they're stuck in this one silo and everything takes place here. The second season, we branch out into a second silo, and now things are happening in two silos. And now in the third season, we've kind of branched out in time.
Yeah.
And now they're outdoors and, whatever, the people doing the normal outdoorsy things. And we've got this story, and then there's a backstory about something to do with New Orleans. I'm not sure what that was. And then something to do with Iran, which I think is separate from the New Orleans thing.
Yes.
Well, but in the New Orleans thing... So go ahead.
So this comes up in the second episode. It's not a spoiler really, but they do mention that the dirty bomb was in DC.
Okay.
And the New Orleans thing, they do kind of explain that in the next episode as well. Oh. But I will, just one thing to comment on the back and forth. I think from what I remember, the second book is kind of covering the past timeline. And then the third book, it jumps ahead. So I think what they're doing is this season and the next season are kind of, or it might be I don't remember exactly the how they did in the book, but I think it's kind of combining them so that way if you get to the final season, they don't have to force in this backstory they're kind of introducing it slow so that way it can build up to the conclusion. So, but they do go back. They do the second book, I think, or it might be the third book. I think there's 3. I don't remember. But there is a whole section focused on the congressman in those books. So it is kind of following that, but it instead of doing it like one chunk is like, instead of them doing 5 episodes of backstory, they're kind of doing it, kind of interspersing it. Because they're also
like shuffling it like a deck of cards, though.
Yeah, and they're going to play, the plot lines will play into each other as the second episode shows.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
There's an interesting moment when the sister is in the plane flying toward the bombing in Iran, where they've entered this cloud, and there's a sort of weird goo that enters the.
Yeah, I thought they were like nanobots. I didn't think they were goo.
Yeah, they're very small, and so it could be like smart matter or nanobots, but it acts kind of like a goo or an oily something. Pulling on Star Trek, references and that sort of stuff, and I started to get the sense that maybe somebody's engineering this international crisis between the U.S. and Iran in this, which is, by the way, just
poor timing.
Way too close to home.
Poor timing.
But it feels like it's not as simple as just there's going to be a international war over this the usual political thing, that there's something else going on that's being engineered.
Definitely. And I think also, so the congressman, he is an engineer. He's like a civil engineer, or that's what he was when he was in the military.
Yeah. Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes. And then the senator had mentioned, it was an offhand comment about how he had helped develop a technique of tunneling without disrupting the surface. Down in New Orleans, because they were replacing, now how they did this, I have no idea. They were talking about they've replaced the levees with some kind of tunneling system, which again makes no sense to me.
They submerged the Mississippi.
Or all of New Orleans. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like, oh, well, is the silo in New Orleans?
I think they showed the silo being outside D.C. in one of the wide shots at the end of season 1, I thought.
Yeah, I think you see a cityscape of some sort.
Yeah, so there's a connection between this new technique of drilling that doesn't disrupt the surface that I think is obviously connected to the making of the silos, because maybe they were building these silos and nobody knew it because it wasn't disruptive on the surface.
I wonder. I think Jeff's smirking over there. Jeff.
I'll have to do my Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing.
But I'm going to speculate that perhaps the congressman is maybe one of the founders of the silos.
Yes, I think so. I do think so. Yeah.
I made the mistake of looking at episode titles for the rest of the season, and I didn't.
Oh no! So you have all the episode titles
in Wikipedia.
Yeah. On Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say it only is coming up one at a time for me. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Wikipedia has them also.
Okay. I'm not going to do that.
The notes, the episode that we're talking about in front of me, but it had the rest of them there.
Okay. Yeah.
But it is the congressman I was thinking about. The pact. They have the sheriff revising the pact, and they're changing things. Like, for example, they have, for whatever reason, it was against the pact to have elevators. Not sure why. But that was I always thought that was odd.
Well, I think that's just a system of control, because if the down deepers can get up top really quickly, then it makes it easier for them to revolt. But if they're all the way down at the bottom, they'd be too tired
by the time they get to the top.
They'd have to, because it would take like 2 or 3 days to climb the silo, so they'd have to. The up top can kind of, head them off early, but.
Yeah. And also it's a way of keeping people physically, I mean, I guess you could argue keeping them physically fit, but also keeping them physically exhausted at a certain degree, because, their nutritional intake is going to be highly regulated. And, you might have it where there are going to be times when they get more or less food, depending on how stressful things are. And if you have to walk many levels and you don't have a big caloric intake, it's going to keep you from rebelling.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
literally
they too,
keeps them down.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if it's season 1 or 2, but they do say that the rebellion always starts in mechanical,
right?
Which is down at the bottom. So because the mechanical, like they start to figure things out or find things that nobody else can see. So it always starts with mechanical. And I mean, it started with Juliette basically,
right?
So and one thing I was going to say too about revising the pact is Sheriff. He was the guy who was all gung ho about the pact is sacred, and like it was like kind of the religion, and he was one of the true believers, and he's kind of through his experiences has kind of opened up to being wrong about that.
Well, he was almost, I don't want to call him a hypocrite, but he was his illness was hiding it was a violation of the pact.
Or so his wife's, right? Or was it his?
No, it was his.
No,
he has
his.
okay. Like a tremor or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so there's this contradiction in him, which, religious people often have contradictions in us.
Well, welcome to the human race.
Exactly. And so there's this contradiction where the pact is sacred, but I'm also violating the pact.
Yeah, because didn't he and his wife was the one that went for a walk, right, in the first season, or was that somebody else?
That was the first sheriff. The first sheriff's wife went out, and then he followed her.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah,
and then this man, guy. Paul, was then...
Right.
He was a deputy. He was a deputy, and he was then suddenly made sheriff. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to rewatch the whole season, but I'm going to wait till before season 4 probably and just do a whole rewatch. I've forgotten all the details.
Yeah. I kind of wish I'd rewatched because I'm like frantically trying to remember all the things that happened last season as it goes.
I did watch the
final
recap.
Episode, but
yeah.
Oh, that was smart. Yeah, I just did the recap, and I do remember the rest, but I think once everything's complete, the thing is, it's such a complex story that you do have to go, what's going on here? Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. And yeah.
What do you think's going on with the group when the new rebels attacked IT? We had that attack when the one young woman was injured and they're looking for her. What do you think? What was that about, that attack on IT? Do you have any speculation?
I think that they see that IT is kind of the epicenter of control.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who, I mean, at a very basic level, they're controlling the screens.
Right. And the cameras.
Supposedly
don't exist anymore.
Exactly. And so if you want to strike a snake, you go for the head. And I think that's what they were trying to do. They did it badly, and so I think that's what they just see that as. And also, Bernard has been so villainized. Maybe they just are associating IT with just him and being evil.
It is interesting that IT of all the departments is so important. And we understand maybe because that's where the algorithm is. That's the computer controlling things. But you would wonder, like, it's almost like every IT support department's dream. We're the ones in charge. If only we were running the company, things would go better.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm sorry, your place would be the silo. That's just
yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's so funny.
I'm looking for other notes I wanted to make. The Congressman's sister Charlie. That beginning where she was so paranoid, she's changing clothes and getting on the metro and she thought somebody was following her. And there's all this stuff about that. And, you kind of like, is she all right? Is she clinically paranoid? Or is she get a reason to be paranoid?
Or both.
Yeah. Or both. And her fate kind of perhaps indicates that maybe she has reason to be paranoid. That something went wrong, but there's not enough there to really grab onto yet. So I guess
no.
Well, doesn't she? She says she sent the reporter to meet with Daniel. Yeah, and she makes fun of Daniel because he thought it was a date.
Poor guy.
And of course, she's like, are you dumb? Like, of course it's not a date because it's you're a congressman. She's a journalist. Like, that's a transactional thing. Which I thought was funny,
and he doesn't seem to be a very successful. He doesn't seem to be a very well respected representative. He's got like this little office, And someone, in probably not the politest way, told him they're not interested in supporting whatever he's trying to do.
Well, he said he would vote for him as long as he doesn't ever call him again. So,
yeah.
By the way, I knew a congressman, and that scene is very true to the way a lot of congressmen spend their days.
Wow.
They are required to spend a lot of time in these special offices off the Hill, because you can't do can't do campaigning in the federal offices, but party purchased offices where they call for money. They dial for dollars. That's a thing.
Wow.
He said it was, one of the worst parts of his job.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, it's like cold calling.
Yeah, they
all
basically
day.
are cold calling salesmen all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one actually struck as pretty true to life.
Oh wow. Well, yeah.
But it does show like that. I'm sure that senator doesn't do it, or she maybe calls like the millionaires and billionaires, but she's not on the phone having to call Joe Schmo who's cussing her out.
Yeah.
And I think it's doing exactly what you said. It illustrates where he sits on the pecking order in DC. He's probably a very junior freshman congressman from Georgia, I think it was.
Yeah, he's from Georgia.
Yeah,
but he does have some political cachet from his time in New Orleans, and it sounds like he like saved the city.
He's the hero of New Orleans.
Hero of New Orleans, yeah. So
sounds like a song.
Could be the hero of Canton, but different.
Yeah.
So because
Jane the hero.
Yeah, because his sister is telling him to get on the committee, which that was interesting because there's not really committees made up of senators and congressmen on a regular basis. They kind of do them as an ad hoc basis, and they might do them as like, here's what we're doing, you tell us what you're doing, but we're not really going to like interact much. But this sounds
of course,
like
it's a state of it was a state of emergency, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because of the dirty bomb.
There are sometimes ad hoc bicameral committees that they do for these sorts of particular things. I think like the Iran Contra hearings back in the 80s itself were two houses. But yeah, I think that does happen on occasion, and that might have been if they dropped a dirty bomb on DC, I can imagine that there would be a major thing like this. Although,
and you'd be in a constant state of emergency.
It seemed a little too peaceful in DC, to really feel like that.
Yeah, so I'm curious because we haven't gotten much on the where the bomb supposedly detonated. So I'm curious where it detonated. Was it like? It doesn't sound like it was on one of the Senate building or the House of Representatives building or the White House. It was probably
it wasn't on K Street or anything like that.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere in a neighborhood or like near.
Right.
And I think the idea of it being, and this isn't something I know from the books, but I think it's the way they're kind of steering us toward is that it's going to be, the call is coming from inside the house, kind of a thing. Like they're doing it to stir up trouble, to start a conflict.
Right.
So
it's a false flag operation.
Right.
Yeah.
I think going back to the Skin of Evil that was in the sky,
the goo,
yes, or nanobots or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Do you, that bit? Again, I think with the flashbacks, that was like something new that was introduced to me, and I guess everybody else act like they made the show for me. But and then they just stopped. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I hope they go into. I want more information about that. Here's my theory. I just came up with it. So, what if they are like nanobots? Or what did you call it, Don? What material? Smart material?
Smart material. Yeah. Smart matter. Yeah.
Smart matter. What if that, like the Borg, like took over his sister and starts building this, like the emphasis for building the silo? Does that make sense, or is that too far-fetched, Jeff?
So AI is taking over people?
Yeah, like the Borg.
That would be interesting. Almost Matrix-y.
Or on, what was that show? It was really good, and it had like one season. Revolution.
Or it had two.
Do you remember Revolution?
It had 2 seasons.
Two seasons,
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah. There you go. I mean,
I say nothing.
Yeah,
I know nothing.
the sister gets admitted instead of going, she's an evil aviator, so she should go to Walter Reed Hospital because Instead, the senator diverts her to this special clinic.
Yeah.
That seems mighty suspicious to me.
That senator is very suspicious.
Yeah.
One of the things is she just was, I did not know, I do know people who have different positions in Washington. And many years ago, I worked for a woman who was quite a mover and shaker in the Democrat Party. And not that I think one is going to be any better than the other, but she was just a little too eager to help him out, considering who he was and who she was. And somehow she, took sympathy on him. And because his sister was a pilot and she was his only family member, suddenly she cares about him. And I thought, that doesn't sound like too many senators I've met.
TV politicians never do anything unless you can do something for them.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and her daughter, who doesn't seem like there's much love lost between her and her daughter, who's also her
one of her aides or something.
Speechwriter or like
something like that. Yeah. And she's, I don't trust any of them.
I wouldn't.
No.
Rosalind Thurman. I wonder if that's intentional. That Thurman is because it reminds you of Strom Thurmond.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And not that it's a major change, but I think in the book, the senator was a man, and so they switched it for this.
Yeah.
But
the actress is good. I remember her from
she's been in a bunch of stuff.
She was in ER, I think, back in the day.
She plays a good big bad.
Yes, she is good at it.
But she's
you don't like her in ER, and you don't like her here.
But she's she's very sweet and unassuming on the surface. So
yeah,
like, oh, I'll help you out, and like very kind of I forget where they said she was from, but like I could.
She's from Georgia.
She's Georgia.
Yeah, so she's a Southern lady and very sweet and
wow.
But
bless your heart.
This is fascinating because I am a Southern lady, and the minute she walked in, I was like, oh man, that's a mean one.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is you're in that crowd. You can recognize one.
Don't trust her.
And speaking of the
bless
South,
your heart.
I did love the sweet tea conversation just because. I'm in Texas, so it's not like I'm not Georgia sweet tea, but like we love our sweet tea here, so I appreciated that. My only thought was like that whole tea is gonna melt. The ice is gonna melt by the time you meet in this.
That's what I was like. What?
See, if they were meeting in Boston, it would be like a Dunky's Iced, and it would be the whole different
and it would be fine, and there would still be ice in there. But if you did something like that in Mississippi or Georgia, it would all be just.
Or DC, because it's so and when it's hot there, it's humid and
I had a big debate yesterday. I was down in Oxford, and one of the lay Dominicans was like, "Oh well, and it's really hot. The best thing to drink is a hot cup of tea." And I was like, "No, it isn't."
That's the thing. Well, you're in the UK, so hot is a relative term.
Well, it's 35 degrees. I don't know what that is, and that's almost like
90.
That's like 90. Yeah, it's been hot.
That's pretty hot.
And but to be drinking, I'm like, no, you don't drink hot tea. Trust me.
My dad would drink coffee all day long, and no matter what season. So it's I think it's a certain type of person.
There you go.
Yeah, I can imagine sweet tea in the UK is a whole different.
I don't even touch it. If it exists, I wouldn't even touch it. Yeah, sorry.
They'd be aghast.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, it feels like we've kind of gone to the. Oh, there was one thing. Juliette has scars that she kept looking at in the mirror. Are these the scars from the fire?
She was stabbed. Remember?
Right.
She was stabbed in Solo's silo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Solo silo.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what she's seeing and doesn't have an explanation for. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've given her, because it's interesting how whenever she asks anything, is it Carolyn?
Camille.
Yep. Thank you. She sits her down and she goes, "Remember, we went through this."
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they have gone through it. She's like, "Oh, now I've got to." That's a way of gaslighting someone.
She's gaslighting her. Yeah.
We've gone through this, remember?
Gaslit by the algorithm.
Yeah. Well, and along with that, like Juliette doesn't remember her friends from mechanical, including like her best friend. And that was very sad when I forget the friend's name, but like she Juliette wanted to talk to her for a minute, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we used to be friends, right?" Shirley, yeah. They said, "Yeah, we used to be friends, right?" Oh, okay, that's cool. And then like you just see it destroys Shirley talking to the head of mechanical guy.
Yeah,
Juliette would never be caught dead in a dress.
Yeah. I mean, and I wrote like, what is Shirley's problem?
Right. She has a problem with whatever's going on with Juliette. And
she does. But I guess I remember in the second season really is when she was introduced. She was a tough woman.
Yeah.
And she was like very focused on what she needed to do. And she didn't she did have emotions. The one that she seemed to show the most was anger and frustration. but she seems there was something else that must have happened to her to just make her not herself anymore.
I think it's the scene Juliette sort of defanged, like the Juliette that she remembers, that she kind of idolized, is now this sort of dress wearing politician, who's not the toughie from Mechanical anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of grief and loss.
Yeah. Maybe if you have a loved one who is suffering from dementia, it might be that same kind of sadness.
Yep.
That's not the person I knew. Yeah, but this person is still here. And I think Julia, I can't remember the name of the actress who plays her.
Rachel
Ferguson.
Yeah.
How could I forget that name? I mean, she does a really good job of being kind of out of it in a way that you do feel very badly for her. And I was kind of like, what is going to happen with her?
Mm-hmm.
But then, there's a scene which Dom, you referred to at the end. So, so hopefully she's just doing a really good job of being, this person, like even as I was watching it, I was wondering, like, what is she going to do? Like, is she going to remember she promised Solo she was going to go back for him? And how many people are out of it?
I think she will, but will it be too late?
Yeah.
I know.
For Solo.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I just think it makes you wonder, like, how many people who are very docile. I think in the first 2 seasons, I thought there were people who were just docile because that's their personality. Mm-hmm. But now seeing Jules behaving the way she is, does that docility come from, is it drug induced?
Yep. Well, one thing I'll just say it comes up a little bit more in the next episode, but you see they talk about they need to give everyone extra, was it vitamin D? And you see the girl from Supply have those big tanks. So if you need to feed someone, if you need to feed a Silo some drugs, you just tell them, oh, your vitamin D's low. So let's give it this.
I have on my notes, don't trust the vitamin.
Don't trust the vitamin shots. Rebecca Ferguson, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Rachel. Yeah. Rebecca.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the algorithm. I was thinking, I wonder what happens when Claude reads this transcript when I feed it to it later. Will it be upset? Claude, you let me know if you're upset by what we're talking about. You're my friend.
It'll start telling you you need to take these memory drugs and.
Yeah. I just feel like it's almost, like in, Odyssey, a Space,
2001.
2001, A Space Odyssey. Like, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Hal, open the pod bay doors.
Yeah, I'm afraid
Claude, open the pod bay doors.
Yeah, exactly. I would say also, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just thinking about, I watched, one of the things I did rewatch was the opening scene, or the introduction to it, where they have the Silo,
like
just
the
the people
credits.
going through this opening credits. Thank you.
Yeah.
And, there's this kind of this transition from machine to what looks like a living body, like a heartbeat, the intestines, the DNA strand, double helix. I think I said this when we did the overall review of Silo. I think somehow maybe the founders of the Silo, they were sometimes uploaded their conscience to the AI and they are invested in themselves staying alive. And they see the people of the Silo as parts of their body, which is the Silo.
It is like a living organism. It's like a closed system and a living organism, almost a terrarium in some senses. But it is, and the algorithm is the brain that regulates the body.
Yeah, IT.
Yeah. And they can, and they know from Silo 17 that they can gas the Silo, because that was a problem in that Silos. They, I think it was Solo's parents found out about that or something.
Yeah.
Or that's what caused the revolution or something along those lines. But
yeah. So
the algorithm entity, whatever, can decide that the Silo is too much trouble and, open the,
and that's the big threat
gas.
it's giving to Camille.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's fascinating because considering that we've assumed that the job of the algorithm is to keep humanity alive. So, and if this is the last remaining Silo, I don't know if they've actually said that, but there's sort of an implication that it's the last remaining Silo.
The Silos, they don't know there's other Silos, so I think it's something
they have the
like
numbering though, right?
What?
They have the number, like it's Silo 18. Do they know that yet?
So I think they found out about the numbers because they don't know there's another Silo at the end of season 1.
Right.
So they don't know. I don't think. I think they find out the numbering system later. They find out that, or Juliette finds out there because no one else.
She found out when she went over.
Other,
right.
Yeah, she forgot.
So she's the only one that knows there's another Silo. I think. I don't think she told anyone because she got back and would have been in the incinerator thing with Bernard.
I think she told Bernard.
Yeah.
Right.
He knew.
Yeah, he knew. The head of IT or head of whatever, judicial, whatever he was, knows, but no one else in the Silo knows there's another Silo.
Yeah.
It's a I know you know that we know that you know kind of a thing. Like you forget who knows. It's hard to remember who knows what sometimes.
Exactly,
I think Juliette is the only one, and Bernard are the only ones, and I guess Camille now maybe are the only ones knowing there is another Silo out there.
In that Silo. And of course, Solo now knows there's another Silo.
Right.
And the other people in there with him.
Yeah, the other kids in the Silo.
And maybe Lucas Kyle? He was an interesting factor at the end of last season where basically the computer said, you can't say anything to anybody or you die, or you all die. It's like, okay, then.
Yeah. And I thought we'll see. I'm sure he'll have a larger role, and I can't read him. I don't know if he's going to be a hero or a gross person. I can't tell.
Any other notes on this one? Got to wrap things up.
One quick thing. I just have in my notes that I was kind of the whole time watching Julia, like, this is not good. What is going on with her? But then when she found that capsule in her soup, and then she flipped the bowl over, and I thought, there she is. There, that's Jules.
Yep.
And so she's fighting back. But like I said, and Dom, as you mentioned, this human factor, her experience is not just who she was when she came into the world, but also all of her experiences, the experiences in her memory and how things have laid down in her mind, but also just who she is as a unique individual. Those things don't seem to be there. The algorithm is having a really hard time keeping her down. And I just loved how it ended, although I was frustrated that it ended. She's back, she's clawing her way back up, kind of this, for lack of a better, like the silo of her brain, of her mind. She's trying to get back up that long, dark tunnel to be herself again. So I loved the way it ended.
Yeah. You can suppress her memories, but if you suppress the personality, then she's no longer Jules and people will notice. And so there's only so much that it can do to her without tipping its hand. And that's its weakness. That's going to be the weakness, I think.
Yeah.
And they're already kind of there because people are like, that's not how like the people who know Juliette are like, like Shirley and the mechanical guy and others are like, that's not Juliette. But the people, most people don't know because they didn't know her personally, but she's become kind of like the messianic figure that led the revolution. So,
yeah. And I think it'll be interesting. I can't remember his name. I don't know if it's George, the guy who brings her food.
Oh, yeah.
I just wonder about him if he's not who he seems, but maybe a good guy,
Yeah, he might be part of the rebellion. He might be how they're getting the messages to her.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff, any other notes on this one?
No, it was a good opening, and I think the second one is as well. So look forward to talking about that one.
All right, so let's wrap it there then, and we'll come back next time to talk about some more.
I'm going to watch episode 2
as soon as we're done here. Go watch episode 2. I may do that too.
Yeah,
take my afternoon off.
Exactly.
So before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the secrets of television, including Colton E, Drennan R, George K, John W, and Dean and Andrea W. Their generous donations at GiveStarQuest.com make it possible for us to continue the secrets of television and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting GiveStarQuest.com. So that's it from us. We'd love to know what you thought about this season premiere of Silo Season 3. If you've watched the rest of this season or as much as is available already, feel free to throw that in there, because by the time we get to your feedback, it won't spoil anything. So that's fine. So you can give us your feedback by commenting on the show at sqpn.com/TV. Send an email to tv@sqpn.com. Visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/Discord. And until next time, Alix Murray, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of television.
Thank you, Dom.
Jeff Haecker, thank you as well.
Thanks, Dom.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Television on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest network you're sure to enjoy, The Secrets of Star Trek. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/Star Trek.